How's it going, guys? So today we're going to talk about the E39 electric cooling fan, the AUX fan, AUX. This is actually a little easier version. This is a 1998. E39's always had issues with the electric fan not working correctly. A lot of those are 99 through 2003. And the older cars can have issues, not as common. So we got everything off here. And how you run this, how you do this, is not what all people think. The very first step, you take the headlights out. The headlights, now this might vary. These cars are getting older. You might have some screws not there. You might have some drywall screws in place. But the headlights come out. There is 2 in the top. And then there is 2 in the bottom. Hold on a second. 2 in the bottom. And these basically sit in here like this, and they slide in and latch. Okay, so let me flip you guys on wide. Alright, so essentially to wide, you can see a little bit more of what's going on. I feel like we're too close if it's not on wide doing stuff like this. Okay, so we pull both the headlights out, and then we have this guy right here. And this guy has a hole up here with 8mm bolt. There's 3 snaps in the top, and those snaps go up here. It sets up here like this, right? So you can see the 3 holes right there those line up with, and you pull that out. And most of you guys probably already know this, so I'm just going to go through real quick. This goes in here like this, and that feeds your air box. Most of these cars are already missing this. It's like a fresh air feed, but I thought I'd show you just in case. There's 3 bolts that take this off. 1 right there, 1 right there, and then 1 right there. So before you kind of left out a step here, before you can take all that off, a lot of people don't know you got to take the bumper off. And this is what stops a lot of people from doing this job, and that's getting the bumper off. So the bumper, and somebody has some eBay grills in here, but the bumper has a hole under here and a hole under there. And that houses these bolts. These bolts go up through here to the bumper shocks and hold that bumper on. It just has a big Torx bit, like a T50 or T55, I don't remember exactly. And all I do is take her impact, still have the setup on right here, take universal on her impact, and can actually zip it out. This is a T50. So you can have the bumper off just in a couple minutes, and then here again, you might have drywall screws holding the corners in. This one had 2 of them. There's a couple inner fender bolts that could still be in there. You can see the hole right there that screws into the bumper. Those may or may not still be there. You're dealing with cars that have a lot of miles on them, so a lot of things have happened since then. So the system for electric fan is this. If your fan don't work, the very first thing you want to do is turn the air conditioner on, start the car up, turn the air conditioner on. The fan should come on, hands down. Okay, if it doesn't, have a lot of things to check. First of all, the plug-in. Make sure the plug-in's plugged in, obviously, to start with. And if it's plugged in, go ahead and unplug it. A lot of times this would be stuck right here. You could actually reach it. You could actually reach it without taking the bumper off to unplug it. Look, usually it's hung right there. Okay, you open the hood, you get to it. And the plug-in has 2 little squeeze connectors on it, and plugs like this. And a real common problem is that those prongs get corroded and doesn't work. We sprayed a little lithium grease in there to make sure it doesn't happen, and that's how that is. Also look at your other side. If they're rusty or even kind of green corroded looking, then you definitely need to clean those out. Now, on the 1998 and before, let's say the fan, let's give a scenario here. Let's say if the fan doesn't work at all, it could be many things. The fan itself could be bad. The resistor pack on the fan, which at this point isn't really replaceable, it's not worth doing it. You just have to buy a new fan. That could be bad. If the fan comes on with AC but will not come on when it comes up to temperature, when it needs it to come on, it overheats. So the temperature related sensor on 98 before is right here, okay, right on the side of the radiator. Now on 99 and up, on M52 TU engines, double vanos, and M54 double vanos, this sensor is moved to the lower radiator hose and plugs right in the top right there. Okay, that sensor controls the fan off the temperature of the engine. So that's possible. Now another one, I know it's just like all kinds of crap. Another option, a lot of people still don't believe me to this day, but you could actually try it on your car. This little box right here, which usually is mounted up on the fan shroud, it's a couple different things. It's something to do with climate control, but a lot of you still don't believe me on this. I'm telling you, if this box is missing or unplugged or damaged, the fan will still work when the AC's on low. When the car is overheating and that's not plugged in or bad, the fan will not come on with the thermostat if there's a problem with this. And if you don't believe me, get your car up to where the fan's running on to cool down, unplug that box and the fan will go off. So there is that. So I would say on the front of the car, that's pretty much all of it. There is a few wire chafing issues where this wire goes like inside, like up under there. It could chafe, but E39, that's not real common. E46, that's more common to be a problem with that. So there's that. So those are the common issues up here. Now, once you went through all that, figure out that's not the issue. And one more thing here. One more thing. You cannot jump power to this and go to those resistors and turn the fan on. The only way you can hotwire these fans on, if you go up here, resistor pack goes to the fan motor, you clip the wires, and you wire up power directly to the fan motor, then you can put power to it. If you try to jump power to this, you're not going to get any results, I promise you. So that's pretty much everything out here. Now, if I get this camera in there or not, there is a 50 amp fuse, a big red 50 amp fuse up behind the glove box that powers this whole system. If that fuse is blowing, you won't get any power to any of this. Okay, so this fan, and let me just go ahead and say this too, that fuse doesn't always have power. That's controlled by the ECU that turns on different stuff to turn that on. So this electric fan is not just bouncing off a relay to turn it on. This electric fan is controlled by the ECU, and many factors have to coincide for this fan to work. I don't know why they did it like that. I know why they did it like that, because they could run two different speeds at different scenarios to keep the car cool. So, you know, it is what it is. So let me try to move this car a little bit. We're going to get on the inside and we're going to try to pull those fuses down and see if I can show you. If you've seen my last videos, I made videos about this before. If I can't get this camera up in there, which is possible, maybe I'll just find a picture on Google and put it in here. Starting to rain, but we got the fan working, so we plugged all that in. Try to show you quickly. Plugged all that in. We got in the passenger side, pulled the tray down. Right here is a T-fuse holder that was stuck up in there. Both those were good. It still did not work, and at that point in time what we did, unhooked the battery, touched the cables together, so basically this was disabled from the bad fan, and it all came back to life. Right now the AC's on, it's running on low, so this car is gonna have to sit here and idle until the temperature gauge gets all the way up temperature, and then we need to make sure that it's going to kick on high once that does that. And so yeah, that's the way that worked out. But that's mostly everything you need to know about the electric fan. We've had a few in the past where none of that even fixed it. We actually had to put this on an exterior thermostat or even on a switch if need be. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's on the second speed right now. It's on high. So after it sits there for a while, it gets up to temperature, and then it'll need the extra cooling. Now, here's something I'm going to tell you about E39s. A lot of people don't know this. You see the clutch fan on the inside? That, I'll be totally honest with you, that doesn't do anything. You can take that off this car, it doesn't matter. What matters is always that front fan that runs a whole entire car. The clutch fan doesn't move enough air to do nothing. A lot of you guys won't agree with that, but there's a lot of options to it. 99% of the time you can fix it. Only a select few could not. But don't go thinking you have the ECU problem right off the bat. Usually that's never the case. The amount of bad ECUs on E39s I've seen, 0. Never. That's never, ever. I don't care who told you what. That's never the case. I've never seen that. If you hook jumper cables up backwards, as somebody said in the comments of the day, I blew my ECU up. No, you didn't. You blew the fuse next to the ECU. Depends on what year. It could be right on the ECU. You blew that. BMW wasn't stupid when they built these cars. They built them so you could actually work on them. If you do something wrong, it's not going to destroy it. So everything's fused, everything's under control. Don't worry about that. So this car, I guess you need to drive it a little bit and see about the transmission, make sure we got that 100% fixed. Control arms, this thing needs thrust arm bushing, is really bad at the minimum. You need to jack it up, look at that, and we need to do something about its headlights. Whether it's buff these and rig up some kind of adjuster situation, I don't know, we'll have to see. But that's all for today's video, guys, on the cooling fan on the BMW E39. Okay, real quick update here. So the next day, and the second speed on the fan is not working reliably. So I did order the fan temp sensor. I think that's probably what the issue is at this point. That's what everything leads to. It's like 14 bucks for a new one. So that's it. Stay tuned.